So we're going to just laminate the legs now. You've already seen how we glue up. I'm going to show you what my prep work is. Very straightforward. First of all, just to check, see whether I've got any twist in here, to see what I'm starting out with. If I'm starting out with no twist, it's just a hair, but not much, so I know I could squeeze that without any issues. So here again, well set plane. You don't want to take very much off. Start at one end here, take out those machine marks. That's basically what you're aiming for, taking out any hollows, any undulation, and work back up the surface. This feels solid. It's probably looks terrible on camera, but this is really very solid. So and a little bit more. So I got my surfaces planed, my surface is ready. This bench is going to be 38 inches overall, so I have to deduct the thickness of a bearer, which is 1 1/4, and the thickness of the top, which is 2 3/4. So the overall length is going to be 34 inches, but I'm going to make it 35 because I want to trim off 1/2 inch top and bottom later to make sure I'm dead square. So, and I'm using a pencil, not the knife wall now, because this is a rough cut, so it doesn't really matter. And here, take care at this point, suspend your overhang. So you don't break off the corner. Same length on this one, mark it straight off. Catch your waist again. One knot in the middle of that, and now I just need to glue and clamp this piece together, and I could do all 4 legs at the same time and clamp, so I would just use the same amount of clamps for this, a little bit wider, so an extra bead along that outside edge like that, and I'm ready to clamp. We're going to do some layout on the legs now. We've got them planed up, squared and everything. 9 inches up from the bottom. I'm going to square my lines across these 2 pieces. This is a pair of legs. Take my second piece of wood. This is my cross rail. This is the cross rail, and mark the second line. So I've got 2 lines on here. Then up at the top of the leg, the rail is going to be flush with the top. So I just flush it with my fingertips, make a mark, and this one I square with the square across the top. And now we're going to square these lines off all the way around. So I'm going to go with my two reference faces here and here. Check that. Yep. So the stock of my square goes against the face and the face edge every time. This guarantees the alignment of these pencil lines all the way around my leg, and guaranteed. And then on this face, this top, there's a couple of things happen here. So I want to make sure, you can see my lamination here, this is where I've laminated the two pieces. So this tenon, I want my tenons to pass through the laminations. I want to make sure they go all the way through. So from the top down as well, also, I'm going to use the thickness of the blade of my square, which is 1 inch, and I'm going to make a second line here. Round onto this face here. And this is going to be a step down. This is what we call a haunch area. So we'll be creating a haunch area. I'm going to set this, these two pins, just the very points of the pins. I set the tips of the pins so they're just on either side of my chisel, the 1/2 inch. And then I have to center this in the piece. So I pull it one way and then the other, and then I adjust accordingly, keeping the pins set, making sure they're set perfectly. And I just pinch up on this until I get them close to one another. Now that's in the center, so cinch everything up, and just as a cross reference, check yourself, make sure your pins are right. And then right in here, I'm going to run these gauge lines. Actually, they need to go from this edge here, so turn it around and run the gauge lines like this, and then flip end for end, because this mortise is going to go all the way through like this. Slide up to the top, end for end again. So we're guaranteeing that this is registered against this edge the whole time. And that's our layout done. Now we're ready to chop the mortises, which is very fast.